Have you picked your bullet journal for 2022? I have, so let's talk about it. Hey y'all, welcome back to Dots and Beyond. My name is Beth, and this is my journal lineup video for 2022. So let's go ahead and get started. The first journal is a repeat journal. You've seen it before if you've been around for a little bit. This is my reading journal from 2021. And in that video, I mentioned that this might have to carry me into 2022 with the way things are in hospitality. Again, I work as an event manager. I work an enormous amount of hours right now. So I do encourage you that if you work in hospitality and you were furloughed, maybe it's time to come back to your job, because those of us who are there could definitely use your help. And then maybe I could have time to read a little more. I did get some reading done. I didn't necessarily get it all put into my journal. So we're going to peek at this really quickly. This is a Beechmore Books Chestnut Brown hardcover vegan leather journal. It is 5 3/4 inches by 8 1/4 inches. It has 112 pages of 120 GSM cream dot grid paper, and it retails for about $15 on Amazon. I specifically purchased it because it looked like an old book, and that's what I wanted for my reading journal. And as you can see, I did read more than 2 books. I'm probably up to maybe 15. I got nowhere near my goal of 50, again, because I'm working so many hours. So I don't know if I will just continue with this exact same setup. I'm guessing I probably will, and see if I can hit those goals at some point. This particular chapter tracker I abandoned fairly quickly, but the rest of it can probably carry me on, or I might choose to come along and just set up something fresh and do some new goals for 2022. But I am going to keep this journal, and I am going to use this journal until we get through all of the pages, probably. At this point, I'm guessing this journal might even carry me into 2023, so we will have to see how the reading journal goes. Next up is a journal that I just had to have. So if you are new to the channel, then you do not know that I was raised in Kenya in East Africa, and when I saw this journal, there was just no way it wasn't coming to my home and becoming a part of my lineup. This is a Dingbats Tangerine Serengeti journal. It is FSC certified, made from degradable and recyclable materials. It is a hardcover vegan leather journal that is 6.3 inches by 8 1/2 inches. It has 192 pages, and it is only 100 GSM. So this is not something that I am going to do heavy art in or that sort of a thing. It retails for $25. And it does have all of this really interesting information about the ecosystem. And then it has some pages that I wouldn't normally use in a bullet journal, like a tab key, color key, index. But I am going to use this for my Commonplace journal, and that is just a place for me to record speeches, quotes, book quotes that I love. I've always kept a Commonplace journal before I even knew that it had a name. Even long before I began bullet journaling, I kept a journal where I wrote down things that were inspirational or that I wanted to remember. And so this is going to be my Commonplace book. And again, with the thinner paper, I never do anything artistic in my Commonplace book beyond maybe a pencil sketch or a pen sketch. And so this is going to be my Commonplace book for 2022. And again, it just had to come home with me, and it fits along with the color palette that I have for this year. Next up is the Midnight Moth journal from Archer and Olive. In fact, the rest of my journals are all going to be from Archer and Olive, so they will all have 160 GSM bright white paper, and they are all 160 pages. Different sizes, but same number of pages. And this one was going to be my son's bullet journal for 2022, and then he saw the Notebook Therapy Cup of Galaxy journal, and so he abandoned this one, and I got to steal it back because he's going to be using that Notebook Therapy journal. last year. I do have a video in January of the fandom custom bullet journal I made for him for Christmas, which was a surprise, and he has loved it and used it all year. So there will be another setup video coming for me setting up my son's bullet journal as well. He's asked me to do that again for 2022, so I'll share that with you moving forward. But I am going to use the Midnight Moth journal as my goal journal. So my goals have been spread across 3 different journals. I've had my Dots and Beyond goals in one journal. I have had my personal goals in my personal bullet journal. And of course, my work goals have been in my work journal. And I am going to consolidate all of those into a single journal. I thought about going the Power Sheets route or using some other sort of goal planning system, but ultimately I've decided I want to try to set up my own first and see how that goes in this Midnight Moth journal. And I'm actually quite relieved that I was able to get it back from my kid. Next up is my first work journal for 2022. And it is, again, this Archer and Olive. Aside from the Midnight Moth, I am in an orange and tan brown color palette for the year. I don't think I set out to do that, but it sort of ended up that way. Again, as an event manager, I do sort of think of myself as an event concierge, and this reminded me of the keys that a certified concierge would wear, and that is why I chose this tan journal with the gold keys on it, and I'm looking forward to setting that up, and we'll definitely share that video with you. And then for my personal bullet journals, let me grab my 21 bullet journals really quickly. These were my 2 bullet journals for 2021. This one was named Diana after Wonder Woman. This one is named Buffy after Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And I do like my journals to be similar, but not matchy-matchy. So they complement one another, but they are not identical. And I have done the same thing for 2022. The first journal that will take me into January for 2022 is the Plant-Based Bride Sunrise Orange Linen Journal. I did not get this in the first release, and then I discovered that this was definitely the journal that I wanted to use. I had to have it, and I tried to get it on the trading sites. I tried to buy it from other people who had one. And then a couple of weeks ago, Archer and Olive re-released these, and I was able to grab one, for which I was very grateful. And it's hysterical because orange is not my favorite color. I don't normally gravitate towards orange, and here I have this orange journal, and here I have this orange journal. So it's going to be an orange, warm colored year in 2022 for me. And of course, the best complement journal for this one is the Morning Sunrise journal from Archer and Olive. And it will be my journal from July to December of 2022. It is hands down my favorite cover from Archer and Olive, and I just love it. So I will start out January through June in this journal, and then I will move into this one. And of course, the big difference here is that both of these are a B5. So I have never worked in a B5 journal. You can see next to the A5 that it has substantially more space to work in. And so I am looking forward to seeing what that space is like and how much more information I can fit into those, or more art that I can add to the setups. And of course, I have been doing my Fierce Fictional Female series for 2021. I have picked another series for 2022 that is a lot more fun and a lot closer to my alley as an event planner. So you will have to wait and see what that setup is here in this dot grid notebook going into 2022. And that is my journal lineup for 2022. Like I said, I have a pretty standard color palette, minus that Midnight Moth that sticks out a little bit, but we are looking forward to getting everything ready to go. Lots of setup videos coming your way, so make sure you're subscribed down below. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell notification, and I will see you here next week with my final Fierce Fictional Female setup for December 2021. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.